Amanda here. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm starting a challenge every Friday for the next 4 Fridays. It may run longer. It depends if anybody is interested in joining in. If nobody's done any of it after the 4 weeks, then I won't do any more. What I'm doing is a Memorydex collage challenge. So for a long time I've wanted to do like a collage book or a glue book or some sort of mixed media journal, but I just don't feel artistic enough. I think the size of the pages overwhelms me, you know, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm not confident when it comes to artsy stuff. I can do digital art until the cows come home. I find that super easy. But physically doing it on paper is different. So using Memorydex, they're great to collect. Okay, people love to collect them. If you don't want to collect them, you can make them and put them in your journals. And it's a smaller version of glue booking or collaging or whatever, mixed media journaling. It's like a snippet. It's like a taster. Okay, you're not overcommitting yourself. You're not being overwhelmed. So I'm going to do 4 of these freebie sheets for the next 4 weeks, okay? I'm going to share them on my Facebook group, okay? And in the files. It has been done in A4 format, but I have checked and it will print out on US letter size as well. I'll have it available in JPEG and PDF, but you will need to be a member. So if you go and join, the link's in the description box below. You need to answer the joining questions, and I will check profiles to make sure they're not locked. You know, if you've got no photo and no content, then I won't let you in. I am quite strict. So don't be offended if you get rejected. It's because I've got some sort of security issue with your profile. I feel insecure over it. It's not personal, okay? I'm just keeping the members safe. So here we go. So every single one will be different. I'm just going to be plucking it from my imagination. And basically the images are kind of a prompt. So this week, you know, I'm not naming them, but this week it's clear that the colour theme's blue. We've got fairies and flowers. And I've given you a blue background on the Memorydex card. Now, if you're clever, you'll cut the Memorydex card out and make a template with it. I will be sharing a few different shapes, but I've only got so many shapes in my arsenal. So we'll repeatedly use some of the similar shapes, but they'll all be roughly the same size. They're all roughly 3x4. If we continue, okay, and there's interest in it, I will design and make a nice box. It won't just be a bog standard open top. I'll make a nice box with, like, I don't know, but I'll make a nice box for us to display them in. Okay. So here we've got some lovely little whimsical fairies, kind of watercolour, and then some really bold flowers. We've got some butterflies. So these images are some that I collected for my Flutterby Dreams digital collection, and then I didn't use them. Often I'll collect and collect and collect images, and they don't all get used, and it seems a shame to just delete them and think, oh, I don't need them now. I'll use them. So I have printed this one on photo paper, matte photo paper, okay, and I have checked it takes mediums without the ink running, so long as you seal it and be careful. And then this one, I started cutting into it and forgot to film. This one is on the navigator paper, okay. When you're sealing the inkjet paper, okay, just the normal navigator paper, just be gentle. Do it gentler and leave it to dry, and it will be fine. The colours shouldn't run, okay? So all you need to do is, I would cut this. I'm going to layer it on cardstock, okay? I don't know if I'm going to wink it. I don't know if I'm going to sew around it. I don't know. I've not decided. Then I'll fussy cut all of my parts. And then, you know, you can either just collage with a glue stick and then seal it with, I've got a matte medium here. Okay, you might want to put some clear gesso on there before you, if you're going to do any stenciling or modelling paste or anything like that. Otherwise, you know, if you don't have those artist kind of mediums in your collection, just use a glue stick and just glue down and just do what you want, okay? It's experimenting and it's having fun. We're not going to hang up on the products. So you can just cut them out and use a glue stick and just make a quick collage. But this should really it should take us moments, okay? You can obviously put as much or as little detail on it as you like, but it's just a little taster of artwork. And then once I've done this, and if I build my confidence and I think that mine are good enough to share and show you guys how to do it, I'll do some bigger images and I'll do some journal pages using them, okay? They're not always going to be, you know, whimsical fairies. I might do, I don't know, Victorian gentlemen one day. I might do trains, planes and automobiles. I could do anything. Whatever pops into my head, we'll do it. So they're not all going to match. They're not all going to be a certain theme. They're all going to be different, okay? So sometimes there might be a subject you're not keen on, but, you know, it's about pushing yourself and just trying it and building up a collection of these little miniature works of art. And then, like I say, hopefully expanding on it, and we can do some journal pages together, and I'll make some, you know, like these are only little because I've sized them to go on here, so maybe we'll make some bigger ones. Absolutely lovely. They're really beautiful. The flowers are beautiful. So all we need to do now is I'm going to go away and fussy cut mine, and then I'm going to construct my Memorydex card, and I'm going to do it on camera, but I'll probably fast forward it and do a voiceover, and we'll see what we come up with. But bear in mind, I'm not an artist. I might be a digital creator, but I'm not an artsy artist, so, you know, cut me some slack. Don't be mean. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've planned my layout, fussy cut all my pieces. One tip here, okay? Take a photo of your layout. If you really like it, I always do a dry run before I stick things down. If you really like it, take a photograph with your phone so you don't forget. I didn't do the layout on my second one as I originally planned, and I feel a little bit disappointed. So lesson learned, next time I'll take a photo. Then just using a glue stick, which I absolutely hate. You'll hear me moaning about the glue stick. I don't like the feel of them. I'm just layering everything down with a glue stick, okay? It's more than adequate for this, for the actual collaging bit, but you can use what you want. You can still use your mediums or whatever, but, you know, if you don't have loads of arty supplies, a glue stick is fine. Then I'm going to cut out my words. Now, I don't want white edges on my words, but do not use distress ink on these until they've been sealed, because if you use distress ink and then you seal it with something, it's going to react with the sealer, which is a liquid, and it's going to run. So if you want to ink anything, use an archival ink. I wish I'd put that word there now. In hindsight, I wish I'd left it in the middle of the flowers, but I put it down there, not realising it's covering over the Memorydex word. But, you know, you live and learn. You live and learn. Doesn't matter where you put the words. I'll always try and do, you know, just like positive vibe words, nothing specific. So here, again, I'm having a look. Now, I have painted this with clear gesso. That will just protect my background. That's what clear gesso does. It also gives what they call a bit of tooth, which means it's a little bit gritty. See, that flower should have been on top of that wing, like that, and I've ended up putting it underneath, and I don't like it, but you live and learn, okay? So I'm just adding my items on again with this horrible glue stick. I don't know about you, but I don't like the feel of them. I really don't like the feel of the glue from glue sticks when it's on my hand. It feels awful. It makes me want to cry. Well, maybe not that dramatic, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I've put my fairy in the wrong place. The wing should have been under the flower, but never mind. Don't forget you can alter the images. These mushrooms had like this weird snail on the top, which I wasn't keen on, so I cut it off and stuck the butterfly on the top. The words you can chop up. You don't have to use them in long strips. You can do them in, you know, individual words. Mine aren't always on terribly straight, but, you know, I don't think it really matters. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not getting material out to add a word on a Memorydex card. So I'm trimming the edges. I haven't trimmed them at the top because I think if I make a display box, I'll make sure that there's room at the top if you want things protruding, and I just think it looks nice. So here I'm starting to add some shading to the images with an Inktense outline pencil. And what you do to activate those is use a bit of water. So I've got a water brush, but then I had a thought, and I realised that I hadn't put my matte medium down. And really you need to, if you're going to start using watercolours or things like that, it's always wise to put a matte medium over the top of those images, because it's only inkjet paper. Okay, so it's not going to, if you use anything like your watercolour pencils or anything like that, they're not going to blend great, they're not going to look great, because it's just inkjet paper. If you add your medium over the top, then you'll get the vibrancy of your watercolours, you'll get better blending, etc. That's why we use it. So I'm now going in and I'm now sealing all of that completely with a matte medium. So then when that's dry, I'll be able to watercolour over the top. So you see me here, and I'm just adding shading, making things look darker, adding shading, just adds a little bit of depth. I'm not brilliant at this. I don't have very good eye for where you should put the shading and depth on hand-drawn things. I can do it on digital, so I'm winging it a bit here, okay? But it's about playing, and your confidence and your experience will grow. The more you play, the more you'll know where to put things. But the point is, you've got to start somewhere. So don't worry if yours looks, a hot mess. Mine's not brilliant, but I've enjoyed it. And this is quick art, so you get an immediate gratification. It's not something that's going to take you months, 10, 15 minutes. Just a little bit of art. You could do this every day. You literally could do this every day and just have fun with it. So I've added my shading just to give the images a bit of depth, and it kind of works. I'm not the best at it, but it kind of works, okay? And then I'm going in with watercolour pencils, and on those images I might want some of the colours to pop a little bit more. So you can totally and utterly go in and add extra things with your colouring pencils or alcohol inks. You might want to put white dots on in the eyes with a jelly roll pen, or add some, I don't know, the wings there are quite plain. Maybe you like doing doodles, you could doodle on the wings. There's loads you could do. I've just added extra blue to add, more depth to those flowers, to try and make them pop even more. And I'm just using a blending stub there. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just think if I use a blending stub, it makes me look cool. I'm only kidding. It helps blend the watercolour pencils out a little bit. I don't always use the right tool for the right thing. I just use what works for me, and this stops me getting harsh lines and edges when I use my watercolour pencils. I'm not an artist. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I know what looks good, and I know to keep going until, it will come together. You'll always have a stage where a project's a little bit ugly, and you just keep going and you keep going, and it's done because you'll feel like it's done. Okay, it's like when you do your housework, if you've only done half a job and done the vacuuming up but not the dusting. It's the same with that. When it's finished, and if you're leaving it and it's not finished. You just have this kind of gut feeling. So go with your gut feeling and just do it until you feel it's done and you're happy with it. Okay, you can totally copy my layouts. There's only so many ways you could put them flowers and them fairies on that small space. And I've done that on purpose to take some of the guesswork out of it, so that we're not overthinking and we're not struggling of where to put things and is this right or is that wrong. There's only so many combinations. So taking the guesswork out to make our lives easier. Here I'm adding some splatters. And I've found over the years the key to getting really good splatters is to use the thinnest brush you can find. The smallest, thinnest brush. It's got about 4 hairs on it. I'm not even joking, it's tiny. And that gives you really good splatters. And I'm kind of happy with that now. And so I'm going to leave it to dry, and that's mine done. Have fun.